Okay, so the next remedy is sulfur. Sulfur again is egoistic, very high image about himself that I am great, I am the greatest philosopher, I understand the whole world, I know what to do in this world and what not to do in this world. This is how the world functions. So I know everything about everything. So I am the greatest and the most superior person. But when someone tells Sulfur that what you're thinking is wrong, actually, practically, this is not how things work, this is how things work, then Sulfur is very, very mortified. He feels lot of grief and lot of anger that this guy does not understand what level I think at. My concepts are of such big level, but that opposite person is telling Sulfur that your concept is good, but it's a theory. It's not practically possible. This is theory. Let's come back to the practical world and see how this theory can be put into practice. No, 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 my theory is perfect. Nobody can change anything. It is like this only. That is sulfur. They feel that my theory is correct. Nobody can teach me anything about my theory. I am the best. I am the topmost. And just because you are trying to bring him back to reality, into this practical world, they are not willing to come into this practical world. Then they become angry, agitated, and they want to basically then insult the opposite person and tell him that you don't understand what level I am at. You are not so good to understand me, etc., etc. So that is how sulfur anger is, right? So now let's move on to some of the sub rubrics. I have picked very few sub rubrics of anger. So anger, the first sub rubric is anger ailments after with indignation. So as I told you, staphysagria, ailments after indignation, insult, and not being able to express, suppressing that anger. This suppression is very important. Anybody nowadays who hears about insult, they think they should give staphysagria. But I believe along with insult, you should see suppression. Then that is staphysagria. Insult with suppression. The other remedy that is very important and useful in today's world is colocynth. Colocynth feels very, very insulted and mortified in office situations. Office situations where the colleague, your colleague, or your partner tries to impress the boss, and then the boss says that that guy is doing very good. No, your work is not so good. He talks, he insults me. I feel very bad. He taunts me. Doctor, what happens in our office? They taunt, they do politics, and they taunt in such a way that it hurts you, that it hits you, that it pricks you. So when I see that people are taunting me, they are harassing me every day, daily, what they do, some person or the other, either the boss or this colleague of mine, they keep taunting. They say, oh, this work, no, you're very good at it. I know you can do it. So this is like a taunt, doctor. I know that I was not able to do this. So they are now, sarcastically trying to tell me, you're not capable. You're not good. So I feel very bad that this is wrong. The last time, this same colleague of mine, he didn't know how to do that work. I taught him. Now that same guy is now telling me that, oh, now you are not capable. These young trainees come and they start teaching us. They start telling us. It feels very insulting that a junior is trying to teach us. How can this happen? And this boss also is supporting. It's very insulting. We can't take it. And then, one day I feel so angry and irritable that this is wrong. This is not how it should be. We should be valued. We should be respected. What if we have become senior? What if we are not as efficient as before. You should still value, you should still respect us. These daily taunts that they pass are very irritating. They cause lot of anger. It is harassment. I am being harassed at my office on a daily basis with all these taunts. I can't take these taunts anymore. They feel that they are being harassed by other people's taunts. That is quarrelsome. And because of that, they feel they have to then rebel. They have to rebel and they have to tell it. Then they start fighting with the boss. Then they start fighting with the opposite person, and they want to just express their anger completely. Okay, so the next sub-rubric of anger that we'll be learning is anger so that he could have stabbed anyone. So this is like, hypersel that we already learned, which is very impulsive in its anger, and it can become very violent and hit and strike and destroy things in its anger. Yes, so that is how hypersel is. Mercury is a very interesting remedy. Mercury is like Aurum, Aurum met, like I am the king, that I am the hero here, and nobody can contradict me, nobody can talk against me. And if anybody talks against me, then he has had it. Then I will kill him. Then I will not leave him. So killing, striking, hitting out of anger is very important symptom of Mercury. So once I remember one patient, he was a 18, 19-year-old boy, and he one day what he went is he went to the farm and he robbed sugarcane from a farmer. The next day, the farmer came to know that his farm was robbed and this guy robbed it. So he went to our patient's house and he told his parents that, your son has robbed my farm and this is not good, and what to do. So then the patient came and he says, hey, who are you? Why have you come to my house? He said, you have robbed the farm. So he said, see, I am the rowdy here. I am the king here. You don't tell me what to do. And I have robbed your farm today. I will rob it tomorrow also. Go and do what you want to do. So that is Mercury. They can't take contradiction. They can't see that the other person is telling them that you did something wrong. If somebody tells them that they did something wrong, then they think they are questioning their position of authority. I am the rowdy, I am the king here. You are telling me, now you have had it. Now I will kill you, I will hit you, I will come to your house and I will hit you tomorrow if you come to my house. That is Mercury, very syphilitic, rowdies. So that is why Mercury, other symptoms are also delusion surrounded by enemies. Delusion, they always carry some kind of gun or weapon with them because they feel, somebody, I have attacked so many people, I have hit so many people, so people will come and attack me one day. They are also trying to look to kill me now. That is Mercury. Nux vomica, we already learned that because you are not working at the pace that Nux vomica wants you to work, he may become so angry that he can even stab people or kill people in that impulse. The next remedy is, the next sub-rubric is anger touched when. So, touched when, and the remedies in that rubric are antimony, crude, and tarantella. Now, Dr. Sehgal has explained this rubric very well, where he says that there can be different types of touch. Touch out of affection, touch out of anger, touch out of bad touch, a guy touching a girl in not so good with not so good intentions. So there can be different types of touch, but this touch means any sensitive to any kind of you know impulse from outside, any kind of impulse from outside. No, I don't. Anything, whether it is noise, whether it is uh, temperature, whether it is someone talking, coming close to me, and actually physically touching. I don't want, just stay away, distance. Huh? I don't want things to come to near me. I don't want people to come near me. Stay away. And that is what is antimony crew. They don't like being touched. Anger from being touched and even looked at. So antimony crew does not even like to be looked at. Antimony is a very, very dissatisfied, discontented child. Very similar to Chamomilla, constantly crying, irritable child. Mother has to constantly carry them, carry them, carry them. Only if they are carried, then they feel they are better. Then they feel they are better. Otherwise, they don't feel that they are better. And sometimes even after being carried, they don't feel better. And typically, you will see antimony crude. The child is better only when the mother is either feeding the child or only when the mother is carrying. If someone else carries, not happy. No, only mother, I am okay. Anybody else coming near me, trying to grab me, trying to take me, okay, why are you crying, child? Okay, I'll try to play. Then he becomes even more angry, even more, he starts to cry with even more intensity. Just because I tried to come near him and I tried to console the child and I tried to carry it, he becomes even more angry. Very dissatisfied. Sometimes the mother will say, okay, only I carry him. But sometimes even if I am also carrying him, he will cry. Very discontented, very dissatisfied. Suddenly, doctor, we are playing, we are in the garden, everything is nice. And then he will see that my sister has come to the park. He will look at my sister and he'll start crying. Why? Because the sister is looking at me. That why is she looking at me? I am playing my own thing. Why she should not even look at me? Let me just be. This is how antimony crude is. He very sensitive to any kind of touch, even looking at me, even touching me, trying to carry me. Don't come. No. I am very too angry, irritable for anybody to come near. Don't come. And the only thing at that time that antimony crude desires is apples. The child will want apples at that time. Right? The other remedy which is very sensitive to touch is Tarantella. Tarantella is very sensitive to touch. In what manner? Tarantella is very restless, very excited, very attractive, very, constantly on the go, wanting to do this, wanting to do that, this I'll do this, I'll do that. They just want to keep on going, activity. And in that activity, if someone comes and tries to tell them, okay, now this is enough, then they try to threaten, don't come near me, I will look after you. If you come to stop me while I am playing, I will hit you with this bat. You want me to hit me with this bat? Don't come near me. So, tarantulas or spider remedies, they are very threatening. They threaten the opposite person. Don't come near me, otherwise I'll hit you. Okay, you think you still want to come? So don't disturb my hyperactivity, my irritability. That is what is the story of Tarantella. So let's move on to some of the cross references of anger. Irritability, quarrelsome, rage and agitation are some of the cross references. So what does irritability mean? Irritability means easily irritated. In anger, the main thing is I have to feel that something wrong, some kind of injustice or unjust is happening. In irritability, it is not necessary that I am feeling something wrong has happened. In irritability, small triggers cause anger. Doctor, just because someone made noise, I get angry. Just because someone is talking with me for so long, I get angry. Just because my things are not in place, I get angry. So it is not that someone has done something wrong. It's just that it's my state. It is a state of from which you can very easily get angry from very small things. Not important. Very small things also you get angry. In anger, it is not necessary that it is small things. In anger, the most important thing is that you feel that there is something very wrong that has happened. And I am feeling for that wrong thing. It's injustice in anger. In irritability, any petty thing, I'm getting angry. Then you take irritability as a rubric. Then you don't take anger. That is why in Kent, both these rubrics are very big. So we see less patients of anger, more patients of irritability. I get angry easily. I get irritable easily. That is more irritable rubric. State of easy excitability. The quality of being annoyed very easily. That is irritability. The next rubric is quarrelsome. Quarrelsome means a person who often gets involved in arguments, fights. He is always fighting, always arguing. So once I remember one patient told me, doctor, in our society we had to, every day morning, we had to go and fill water, drinking water at a common place. And in that common place, my mother would always send me to bring water. Because, once I went there, everybody knew that if they do anything wrong, or if anybody breaks the line, or if anybody tries to act smart there, then, I would fight with everybody. I would argue, I would shout, I would yell, I would not leave. I would just get into arguments. And just because I was so argumentative, people used to, slowly get scared of me that, okay, now she has come, no, now better maintain line properly. So this is what is quarrelsomeness. You feel something unjust has happened, something wrong has happened, somebody is breaking the line, so then I get into arguments. If you see that this patient has this tendency to argue and fight with the opposite person, that is quarrelsome. That he's going to get into a fight. He's going to fight now with that person. He's not going to leave it there. Staph is angry, I will leave it. Hipparcel will leave it. He is directly stabbed, violent. They are not arguing. Naxomika, he's not arguing. Why you did not do this work? No. He'll directly stab. Right? Causticum, he's trying to lead them, get into consensus, move. He's trying to create agitation. But quarrelsome is getting into arguments, fighting. Why you did this? Why you should not do this? It is opposite of what we learnt in Kalika. Anger at absent persons. The person is present, then I will talk very nicely with that person. Like there's no anger. But he is not there. Then I have no anger. That was what we learnt in Kalika. Quarrelsome, this person has come. I was waiting. Now I will talk with him. Why did you do this like that day? How did you do this that day? I will tell you what happened. I will tell you what should happen. This is arguments, quarreling with the opposite person. He is in a habit of finding fault in the opposite person. Fault finding. That is quarrelsome. Right? So let's move on to the next cross reference. That is rage. Rage is violent, uncontrollable anger. So it is similar to the remedies that we learned, that is Hipparsulf, Mercury, Nux vomica, where there is anger with violence. They can kill in that anger. They just are fully into the anger. So it is uncontrollable anger. After I have done it, after I have shot that person, after I have slapped a person, after I have kicked a person, then I realized, "Arey, what did I do?" So this is very, very similar to the rubric impulsive. But the difference between rage and impulsive is rage is action out of anger. Impulsive can be action out of any emotion. It can also be because of anger. It can also be because of happiness. I felt so happy that I did this in that happiness. I felt so sad that I did this in that happiness. I'm impulsive. Whatever emotion I feel, in that emotion I act. That is impulsive. Acting out of emotion. Rage is acting out of anger. Right? So that is the difference between rage and impulsive. So agitation is very similar to anger, where it is a state of excessive psychomotor activity. Means patient is restless, moving about, restless. You can see that the patient is not stable, trying to move about, go about here and there, so that he can get his anger outside. Or agitation is also what we saw in causticum, where you are trying to create a movement where all of us cohesively fight against the management to get our rights. That is agitation. But there is not a lot of difference between agitation and anger. So that is why in the repertory, there is Kent's repertory, there is no remedies given under agitation. It is in fact given that you should refer to anger. So these are some of the acknowledgements. All my knowledge is, some of it is my own, but I have learned from all these teachers, Dr. Sehgal, Dr. Sankaran, and I have also referred to this book of Kent, where he talks about Kent's comparative repertory on homeopathic materia medica. Right? So that is it for today, friends. I hope you learned something from these videos. Thank you. See you soon.